Hello everyone, this is Yoan and welcome to a new tutorial. In this episode, I would love to share a simple shoulder bag. I call this bag the festive bag because of the time of the year and the theme of the fabric that I use, which is quiet, Christmassy. There is not much fuss going on with this project, yet the bag still looking pretty charming and functional as well. So my aim this time is for you to get to make something that is relatively easy, enjoyable, and will give you a lovely result with materials that you pretty much already have on hands. The finished measurements are about 11 inch at the widest point by 11.5 inches tall by 4 inches deep. It comes with a zipper pocket at the back, a magnetic snap closure, a zipper pocket, and a slip pocket in the interior as well. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate Christmas and happy holidays. And without further ado, let's get started. First, we're going to work on the patchwork of the front exterior panel. So for the upper panel, you want to lay out 4 strips. If you wish to use solid panel, you may follow the measurements for the back exterior panel instead. First, we're going to sew panel 1 and 2 right sides together with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. For accuracy, I use my 1/4 inch foot. You may also use regular presser foot. I recommend to do scant 1/4 inch, a little shy than 1/4 inch, to compensate any loss of fabric which usually occur when you do the pressing, especially when you press the seams towards one side. Obviously, feel free to press the seams open if that's what you prefer. Now let's sew panel 3 and 4 right sides together, also with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Now let's join these panels together, and there you go, the upper panel is done. Now you want to apply some fusible woven interfacing or any medium weight interfacing on the wrong side. Now let's take panel 5 or the lower panel. So we're going to use vinyl fabric or 4-liter fabric. You want to cut 2 pieces of this, one for the front and one for the back. Now let's go ahead and sew this with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Once you've done that, you want to finger press the seams. Make sure to push the upper panel fabric out of the way so that it won't create any pleat and compromise the measurements. And then top stitch. So you want to top stitch about 1/8 inch on the upper panel side. And if you wish to, you can add a couple extra stitches just to reinforce this. And there you go. Now let's work on the back exterior panel. So this one is panel 6. Fuse the wrong side with some fusible woven interfacing. Now let's sew panel 6 and panel 5 right sides together with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. And then you want to finger press and top stitch. Next, we're going to work on the zipper pocket. So go ahead and prepare panel 7 and then draw the zipper template just like shown on the screen right now. So you want to draw a rectangle measuring 8 inch by 3/8 inch. Of course, you want to center the position, and as usual, you want to draw a line on the center and the little corner triangles as well. And you want to draw the template about 1.5 inch down from the top edges. Lay the pocket panel on the right side of the back exterior panel with the right side facing down. Of course, center the position, and you want to position the pocket panel about 1 inch down from the top edges. Now let's pin this in place and then stitch all along the outer line of the template. Once you've done that, you want to cut the center line and the corner triangles. And as usual, you want to be very careful at the corner area. Just make sure that you won't cut through the stitches. Now let's turn this to the wrong side. You want to neaten everything and then go ahead and press this. And you should end up with something like this. Now we're going to install the zipper. So we're going to use a regular all-purpose zipper, at least 9 inches long. As usual, apply some basting tape on the edges of the zipper tapes. Position the zipper template on top of the zipper and then finger press so that the basting tape will be sticking on the fabric. And then go ahead and stitch this in place. And there you go. Now if there's any excess zipper, go ahead and trim that off. Bring the bottom edge of the pocket panel towards the top. So you want to fold this in half just like that. And then sew the sides and the top edges with 3/8 inch of seam allowance. When you sew, make sure to get all the external fabric out of the way. And there you go, the zipper pocket is done. Draw and cut 2 inches square notches at the bottom corner of both of your front and back exterior panels. Once you've done that, we're gonna go ahead and assemble the exterior shell. lay the front and back exterior right sides together. Match the lower panel seams and then clip. And once everything is secured, go ahead and stitch the sides and the bottom with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. Open the bottom corner and match the side seams and the bottom seams, just like so. Clip them in place and then sew with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. Once you've done that, repeat the same to the opposite side. Now you want to turn this inside out and that's it. The exterior shell is done. Now let's work on the back interior. So these two are the upper interior panels, or what we're going to call here panel 8. And you want to fuse the wrong side with some fusible woven interfacing. These two are panel 9 or the lower interior panel. Now we're going to work on the front interior pocket or the slip pockets. So let's lay the pocket panels right sides together and then stitch along the top edges with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. Press the seams open and then fold wrong sides together. Press this again and then top stitch. Now lay the pocket panel on the right side of the lower interior panel and then stitch the sides and the bottom with 1/4 inch of seam allowance. So you should end up with a large slip pocket. Now feel free to divide this pocket into two if you rather have smaller pocket compartments. So we're going to work on this exactly the same way as the back exterior zipper pocket. So here I've already drawn the template, exactly the same as the exterior pocket. Now lay the zipper pocket panel on the right side of the lower interior panel. This time you want to align the top edges and of course center the position. Stitch this in place and then install the zipper exactly the same way as the exterior pocket. To add just a little bit of body to this bag, since we only use the fusible woven interfacing for the exterior, we're gonna add a piece of batting to the wrong side of the lower interior panels. So go ahead and cut the batting about the same size. Lay the lower panel wrong side down and then base stitch all around with about 1/8 inch of seam allowance. Now sew the upper panel and the lower panel right sides together with about 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Once you've done that, press the seams and top stitch. And there you go. Now repeat the same to the other panels. Just like the exterior panel, you want to cut 2 inches square notches at the bottom corners of your interior panels. And then base stitch the edges with 1/8 inch of seam allowance. Next, we're going to install the magnetic snap closure. So measure 1.5 inch from the top edges right on the center, of course. Mark it with your fabric marker. Fuse the wrong side with a little bit of extra layer of the fusible woven interfacing. And then go ahead and install the magnetic snap closure. So since this one will be the back side of the interior, I'm going to install the female magnetic snap closure. And of course, for the front side, we will install the male magnetic snap. Now, if you wish to add a zipper closure rather than magnetic snap closure, you can go ahead and refer to the Dewey Crossbody Bag project. Simply follow the zipper panel and installing the zipper closure instructions, and then come back here and follow the rest of the steps. Assemble the back interior the same way as the back exterior. Now let's work on the strap. So cut a piece of strip from the vinyl fabric about 30 inches long. Feel free to make this longer or shorter according to your liking. If you wish to, you can do a little bit of assessment beforehand. For this bag, I'm going to do the two-sided strap method. First, you want to draw a line right on the center of the vinyl strip. Simply measure 1 inch from one of the sides and then draw a line with the pen or fabric marker. Fold the edges towards the center line and then clip. And then stitch about 1/8 inch from the raw edges, or simply use 3/8 inch of seam allowance. I'm sewing with the wrong side facing up just to make sure that my needle will catch the edges of the fabric. I recommend to increase the stitch length when you work with vinyl. I like using my walking foot to sew vinyl. You can also use Teflon foot, and if you're in doubt, always do a little bit of testing on a piece of scrap to find out which setting will be perfect for you. So you should end up with something like this. Now let's repeat the same to the opposite side. And there you go. So there should be 2 parallel lines on the center of your outer strap. Now let's work on the inner strap. So cut 1 strip from the regular cotton fabric, a slight smaller than the vinyl width-wise. And just like with the vinyl, you want to fold the side edges towards the center. First, you want to fold the strap in half and then press. and then fold the edges towards the center fold, and then press and do the same to the opposite side. Lay the outer strap wrong side up, and then lay the inner strap wrong side down. Center the position, and then you can go ahead and secure this with some clips or apply some fabric basting glue to hold this temporarily. A little goes along the way. And then stitch right along the edges of the inner strap, or use 1/8 of an inch of seam allowance. So this is how your strap should look like on the right side, and this is how it looks on the wrong side. Take the interior panel with the wrong side facing out, fold the top edges towards the wrong side about 1/2 an inch, and then press to hold the fold in place. And you should end up with something like this. When you press the side seams, open the seams to minimize the bulk. Position the strap right on the side seams with the right side facing out. So the end of the strap should go about 1 inch down from the top edges. Secure with some clips. Again, make sure that the right side of the strap is facing out. And then stitch a couple of lines to hold this in place. And this is how your strap should look like. And you want to do the same to the opposite side. Take the exterior shell with the right side facing out, and then fold the top edges towards the wrong side about 1/2 an inch. And again, press this to hold the fold in place. And this is how it should turn out. Alright, now we're ready to assemble our bag. So go ahead and insert the bag interior into the bag exterior, just like shown here. Of course, the wrong sides should be touching each other at this point. So the back side of the interior, the one with the female magnetic snap closure, should be facing the back side of the exterior, and the same goes for the front side. Now let's secure them in place with some clips. Start by matching the side seams, and then clip. Now let's clip this all around. Try to position the top edges of the interior a slight lower than the exterior. Once everything is secured, we're gonna stitch this all around to finish the bag. So you can either use 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch of seam allowance, whichever one that you prefer. I use a little shy than 1/4 of an inch of seam allowance, using my walking foot, also increasing the stitch length. Since you are also at the same time top stitching your bag, I recommend to slow down, no need to rush, so that you have a nice end result. And that's it, guys. Our bag is done. And that's about it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.